The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's August the 19th, 2025. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined this morning by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day. And the news of the day continues to be the news of the countdown to the season opener, August 31st. It does not get any bigger than this. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish coming down to Hard Rock Stadium opening night. Matt, one of the most talked about subjects of the last month, because people are starting to get fired up for the season, has been, is this game against Notre Dame a must-win game? And there's really multiple ways you could look at it. You could say, no, it's not a must-win game. It's an out-of-conference game. Even if Miami loses this game, they can go on and still accomplish all their goals, winning the ACC, making the college football playoff. So in the grand scheme of things, it means absolutely nothing. And then you could take a Ferman viewpoint, which is this game is everything, okay? This is 4 years of built-up anticipation of Canes fans weathering the growing pains, the hard times, as they balance the hopes of Mario Cristobal coming home to Coral Gables and what that was meant to mean. And the University of Miami, unprecedented by a mile, commitment to the football program, commitment to NIL, commitment to doing whatever it takes to put together the best roster possible. An incredible offseason job, and also, in my opinion, by Mario Cristobal's back office team in building the middle of this roster so that Miami goes into this season with greater depth than it has in a real long time. You put all of it together, I say, yes, this is a must-win game because it's the first game of 2025, and it's a validation night at Hard Rock. You're going to have everything going for you, a crazy crowd. You've got the best quarterback in the stadium. You've got a team that's built from the inside out with strong offensive line and what you believe is going to be a pretty strong defensive line. There's no excuses for Miami in any game this season, quite frankly. That doesn't mean they will win every single game. That's asking a lot in a college football season. But Miami will not be afraid to walk on the field one day in this 2025 season. Matt Shodell, last couple of days, you've written about this topic. The first was a column, if not now, when? The Miami Hurricanes seeking a breakthrough 2025 season. Today, it's why the August 31st showdown between the Miami Hurricanes and Notre Dame feels like a must-win game for both teams. I think that tells us where you line up. You got the floor. Talk to us, my man. Is this a must-win game for the Miami Hurricanes on August 31st?
I wish I had some pithy response, but...
Well, somebody in the YouTube comments today said you need to smile a little bit more for starters. So smile, man.
No, I have resting sad. I have resting sad face. What I will say, well, first of all, let's go back to yesterday because people were put off by the fact that I wouldn't say if I thought the receivers would be bad or good. They want me to say one or the other. Why am I wishy-washy? I tried to explain. I thought I sort of explained it, but I tried to explain on the message boards further yesterday. And I posted to somebody who asked about it on the YouTube chat. I don't know, one of the several poor people who watch this show. But the reason I said it is because I don't know. Like, I'm not going to make stuff up just for a soundbite. If I feel something, if I have an opinion on something, I'm going to say it. But I have no freaking clue on the receivers if they're going to actually be good or terrible. I really don't. I can't wrap my head around it after watching practices in the spring and the fall, hearing from other people. Sometimes they look okay, sometimes they look bad. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm not gonna just sit here and be like, they're gonna be great, like a lot of these other people do. I'm not gonna sit here and just be my usual self and say, oh, they're gonna be terrible until they're proven that they're good. So that's why I said they might be good, they might be bad. I don't know. Like that's just the truth. I'm not gonna make stuff up. I'm here to let you people know what I know what I hear, what I see. That's my only purpose in life.
That's being wishy-washy.
I really honestly, I wish I had other purposes in life. I do not. It's very sad.
It's being non-committal. It's being wishy-washy.
Yeah, I'm very wishy-washy on the receivers, 100%. That's literally what I just said. I don't know how else to say it. You ask me about other stuff. I tell you the truth. I get in trouble with
Okay, but
happy about some stuff I say, but I'll tell you the truth on stuff I think and know.
Okay, but I just got done asking you about something else. Right. So can you get to the subject at hand, please?
Yeah. So in this case, I mean, if it has cheese, sauce, and a crust, it's pizza, right? If you're playing Notre Dame, if it's a season opener, if everything you've built for 8+ months is on the line to show what you did to become a program, and it's not Catholics versus convicts anymore, it's Mario versus Marcus, because Mario Christo, what are you doing? What is it?
4 years, not 8 months. I just was not interrupting you. They've been building for this game for 4 years.
Oh, they knew they were playing Notre Dame 4 years ago, and that's when they started preparing? My mistake. I didn't realize that. I thought they prepared for the Notre Dame.
The moment, Matt. The moment. They've been building for the moment for 4 years.
So this is Mario versus Marcus. Forget that. Let's put that on a T-shirt, okay? Because Marcus Freeman took over a dream job for a program that had won 10 games or more under Brian Kelly for 5 straight years. And he immediately decelerated to 9 wins, okay? And then he got back to double digits, and then he obviously made it to the national championship game last season. And now this is his team in year 4. This is now Mario Cristobal's team in year 4. Mario came in and took over a team that was almost the opposite of Notre Dame. No talent. I mean, they had some players left, but no overriding talent. No 10-win seasons for any of the players that were on the team he inherited. And you saw what happened in year 1 with 5 wins. You saw what happened in year 2 with an increase to 7 wins. And you saw what happened in year 3 with an increase to 10 wins. But now both these coaches have firmly put their imprint and their blueprint to work for 4 years. That's a long time. Like Gary said, 4 years ago. So this is a referendum, not just on Miami, but on Notre Dame. That's why this is a must-win game for both teams. And people are like, oh, it's not a must-win. Miami can still win the national championship and lose this game. 100% true. But then what game is a must-game? If you're even going to bother using the label of must-win, what game will that be exactly? The national title game is the only must-win game in that definition. So by my definition, this is by far the biggest game of the year. It's the top team you're going to play all year in the rankings, number 5 team in the country who just played for the national title. It's a chance to set the stage for your season, to show your players that what you had them do for 8 months in the sand pits, running hills, the only hill in Miami, and all the other stuff that they put in, that you put them on the right path and that it's going to pay off. And it will pay off, and it did pay off. That's how you build belief in a system. That's how you build belief in a culture. You lose this game, and fans may not notice it initially. Maybe Miami rebounds and beats Florida, and they start 3-1, 4-1, 5-1. But there's going to be that little lingering doubt in the back of Miami, the Miami team, the Miami players' minds. Everybody's minds like, we weren't good enough to beat Notre Dame. Now we're playing a bunch of teams that aren't as good as Notre Dame and beating them. But can we get back to being able to beat a team like Notre Dame, Clemson, whoever comes in the playoffs? Because Miami doesn't play anyone else that's at this level. They just don't until maybe the ACC title game when they play Clemson, right? So, yeah, to me, this is clearly a must-win game, and it's a must-win game for both programs, because if Notre Dame loses to Miami, that's an embarrassing loss from the Notre Dame perspective, right? With all the history of the series, and the last time that they came to Miami, they got thrashed. I mean, they got thrashed. And to not get payback for that, I mean, I'm sure they've shown that game to the Notre Dame team quite a bit, right? If I'm the Notre Dame coach, I'm showing it every freaking day. I'm playing it at the local movie theater in South Bend, and I'm bringing the team. You know, I'm telling them we're going to see Harry Potter and the Goblet of whatever, like they're rerunning it, and then you freaking just show the Notre Dame Miami game from whatever year that was, what year was that? I can't remember anymore. But you know, the crux of it all is if you have to pick maybe 1 or 2 games out of the entire season that you want Miami to win, this is one of those 2. So I know fans are upset with the term "must win," but like it is what it is. Like, yeah, this is pizza. This has the cheese. It has the crust. It has the sauce. It's got the truffle sprinkled on it. It's got the red pepper flakes. Like, it's got it all. And you got to eat it and enjoy it.
All right, listen. I think it's must win, but you're taking this all over the place. Okay, you can't say if Miami fans aren't picking one game, because you got to win them all. You got to win the ACC games. You got to win the conference. So you don't do anything this year. So
Miami
it's not
fans are really upset that you're calling
not
them
quite
That's
the
my
slant.
point.
But that's not quite the slant. I'm thinking more big picture here. As in, like, for 4 years, and I keep holding up those 4 fingers. It's not 8 months. It's 4 years. Miami has been building.
Kind of super annoying, by the way. It's somewhat distracting.
Sorry, man. Sorry. You want me to do
honestly,
I could do it Cam Ward style. I could do it the Cam Ward style.
If you had George Costanza model-like hands, I'd say fine, but they're freaking just like.
Oh no, I don't have model-like hands. No.
So stop sticking your fat little fingers into the camera. It's disgusting.
All right.
Honestly, I feel nauseous now.
But I think you're taking this to like layers that like don't really apply. The point is they've been building for 4 years for this night. There's no question about it. Okay. The roster was horrible. First year, washout. Second year, washout. Last year, much better, but you flamed out at the end of the season. Okay. This is it right now. Okay. You've progressively been building to this, and this is a different team than last year. Make no mistake. There's no Cam Ward out there. Carson Beck is not Cam Ward. He's not going to be asked to be Cam Ward. It's going to be a whole different style of quarterbacking. Doesn't mean it can't be as effective or close to as effective. And I love what I've been seeing this fall of Carson Beck. I'm seeing him progressively getting his game back after 4+ months not throwing a football. His timing is getting better by the day. His ball placement is as good as I've seen. I mean, elite ball placement. Always puts the ball in the right place where only his receiver hopefully can get it, and where it needs to be on a given play, depending on the coverage. Carson Beck, I expect to play at a really high level this year. Miami should have a huge edge at quarterback against Notre Dame. But I flash back to the Manny Diaz era, and I remember going to Dallas to play LSU, and it was the opening game of the season, and that was the build-up game for Manny Diaz. And they had gone through the growing. Supposedly, they had built up the roster. Supposedly, they went into that season expecting to be really good. Okay, and they got by LSU, and they ran into a buzzsaw. Everything clicked that night for LSU. Miami didn't show up and play great, and they got beat. And I remember the mood in the Miami camp and locker room and everything after the game, and they were looking at their head coach, and they were asking the question, I thought you said we were going to be good. Okay. Like, that was the general feeling in Miami football at that moment. And they never recovered from that night because they never believed that they were that good ever again. This team goes into this season believing it is that good with justifiable reason. They have built 4 years for this. Obviously, not everybody's a fourth-year player. A lot of the key players are second, third-year players. You're even going to have some true freshmen out there on opening night. But they came to Miami because Miami was supposed to be this good. Okay. This is a tall order. It's a very good Notre Dame team. We've been starting to break it down. We will continue to break it down. By the time we get to August 31st, you're going to know everything you could possibly want to know about. But it's a good team. And this is a very tough matchup for Miami. And not a gimme by any stretch of the imagination. I'm expecting a knockdown, drag-out game. Goes into the fourth quarter. May the best team win. But, for those reasons, though, I think it's must win. I think it sets the tone for the season. I think it has an incredible impact on the psyche of the players and the team. And the only asterisk I'll put next to that is a couple weeks later, you got the Florida Gators coming to town. And if Miami were to stumble on the 31st, that game against Florida would be a chance for redemption and to get the season back rolling on the right track. But you can't look ahead to that. We're focused right now on winning this game on opening night. Everything going for the Canes. The crowd is going to be insane like it was in 2017. 8 o'clock. People are going to have been tailgating for 5 hours. I mean, I wish they would open the gates early. I really should open the gates earlier for that game, but I don't know that they will. But listen, it's a no excuse night, and I'm sure Mario Cristobal is not looking for excuses. I'm sure Miami's going to be well prepared. I'm sure they've scouted Notre Dame very, very well. So, Matt, for all those reasons that I just mentioned, that's why I come down on the side that this is a must-win game for Miami.
Am I supposed to pretend I listened to you for the last 10 minutes? Okay, yeah, great points, Gary. Amazing. I don't know how you think of these things. You're like a football savant.
Better than the nonsense that you were saying earlier.
You just said the same stuff I said, just with a different twist, saying that I was wrong somehow. We both agree. No. It's a must-win game for multiple reasons. What I was trying to say before, when you said it was all tangents, is I was addressing what I know will be fans saying you guys are wrong, right? Because they could still go to the national championship game. How is this a must-win game? Which also makes sense. That's what I was trying to address. That you called a tangent, but it makes sense. Which is why I was trying to explain why, even with that, this is. I agree with you, and for all the reasons you said, and for the reasons I said earlier, this is indeed a must-win game.
All right, let's take a look at some of the points that you make in your column today. And you talk about the upward trajectory of both coaches and teams coming into the season now, ranked in the top 10. And upward trajectories are great, but the biggest thing about upward trajectories is continuing those upward trajectories. You can go up to 10 wins, but if you go back to 7, that everyone's going to forget that you went to 10 wins. So yeah, both teams are unquestionably on upward trajectories, and that creates expectations though for both teams and both fan bases. And we talked about the momentum aspect of it and that thing, but the biggest thing to me is something that you brought up actually yesterday, which is, if not now for Miami, then when? And, this team is built to win this year. I don't think there's any question about it. And when you look at next year's schedule, man, you got away games at Clemson, Notre Dame, and South Carolina, okay? Those are 3 monster road games. Even South Carolina on the road like that is going to be an extremely difficult game. So we'll see what the roster looks like going into next year. We have no clue yet, what that's going to be. But when you have 3 out-of-conference games like that before you even get into your conference, let's call a spade here, Matt. And, that's going to be a tall order 12 months from now. So the point you're making, if not now, then when, I think is very legitimate.
Well, look, I think Miami should and wants to play almost all meaningful games, not these sort of throwaways. Yeah, you want 1 or 2 throwaways early in the year just so you can sort of, get honed in on a couple of things here and there and get comfortable with stuff. But this is the way it should always be. Fans don't want that old Big East schedule where you're playing Temple and all these terrible teams, and you have 4 big games a year. You have the big non-conference games, but the ACC is not a conference like the SEC where you have to schedule just 1 decent non-conference opponent just to say you did it. If you want national respect in the ACC, you need to go out there and play the Ohio States, the Alabamas, the Notre Dames, the Clemson. Clemson's in the ACC, obviously, but you need to play meaningful opponents that are going to be ranked. And I think that, honestly, is what hurt Miami as much as anything last year, because Miami did win 10 games. But Miami wound up 10-2 and behind a 3-loss Alabama team because Alabama just happened to play teams that people felt they were ranked when Miami didn't play as many ranked teams. They played teams that people felt were better. And, yeah, it's an expanded playoffs. But you can get into an expanded playoffs with 3 losses if you're playing all really good teams. You can be 9-3. And if in those 9 wins, you beat 3 ranked teams, and if your 3 losses are against 3 ranked teams, and there's a team with 1 less loss ahead of you who hasn't played anybody, there's every argument you can make, just like Alabama successfully did last year, that you belong in the playoffs. So I have no problem with Miami playing a tough schedule. The key is going to be for Miami to continue to successfully navigate its own roster to figure out where the missing pieces are and then get what you need, right? Because I know this year they tried desperately to get a top slot receiver in the portal. They were not able to get really the people they targeted initially. There's 3 guys they really wanted. They didn't get any of them. They chased some other defensive tackles, weren't able to get them. I mean, you guys all know, right? We reported on it ad nauseum, but there was people Miami was not able to get because Mario has a set structure, which is good, a set payroll, so to speak. He knows what the money is. He knows what he wants to pay at each slot. And if you want way more than that, it's just not going to work because A, players find out and get upset, and B, it messes up your money somewhere else that maybe you want to spend there, right? There is a budget. I know most people out there just spend whatever they want. There's no budget. There's a budget for the University of Miami. So yeah, if not now, when the schedule is better this year, but that's not to say they can't win the national championship next year. My whole prediction along the whole Mario Cristobal timeline, ever since he came in, and you guys all know this, I predicted he was going to struggle the first couple of years, which he did. And then I predicted 10 wins last year. Not the exact 10 wins they got, but they still got the 10 wins, right? Because once they were 9-0, I'm like, maybe I should change my 10-win prediction. But they got the 10 wins last year, and my prediction was no playoffs last year, and my prediction was playoffs this year. And that's a prediction, by the way, not recent. That's a prediction from like 2 years ago that I made when I sort of saw how Mario was trying to do this and sort of saw the pieces that maybe can come together. And yeah, some of it's guesswork. I can't take credit for it. It's just what I felt was going to happen. And I've shared it with you because that's what I thought would happen. And those of you that watch regularly know I did that. And my whole prediction back then was also that next year, 2026, I didn't know the schedule back then, but I said 2026 will be the year they can actually compete for a national title. Because at that point, you've got the recruits Mario I knew was going to bring in, top recruits. They've had the time to develop them, find out who's not going to work out, who is going to work out. The money's in place to figure out the 5 or 6 free agents you need to get, not 22 free agents where you sort of have to space out the money among 22 guys instead of just put all that money into 5 guys that are free agents, right? Which is all you need if you have a really good returning roster. And so that was my vision, is that 2026, this will be a complete team, as complete as you can get it in the NIL era. And you know what? It might be. It might be. Because, Jordan, look at the guys that are going to be back, right? Yeah, you need a quarterback, but they needed one the last 2 years, and they were able to do it, right? But you got 3 great running backs coming back, at least, right? The 3 main guys this year. You're going to have to reshape the offensive line a little bit.
Fletcher's going out if he has a good year.
Yeah, if he has a good year, yeah. Well, you have at least 2 then, whatever.
Yeah.
But you have the basics pieces on the offensive line, because I know these young guys are really good. That'll be coming up. Derek Plaz is going to be really good. Tommy Kinsler is going to be really good. And they're going to have a couple guys back. Samson Okunlola obviously is going to be really, really good. So the offensive line is going to be fine. And then these receivers, wait till those guys get set loose in 2026. You don't think a top quarterback's going to want to come here with those guys here? So the offense is going to be off the charts good next year in 2026. That would be next year. And then on defense, Justin Scott is going to be back, right? I think he's going to be an outstanding defensive tackle, maybe even a first-team All-ACC type guy. I mean, he's got that kind of potential. And the young ends, are you kidding me? Armando Blunt, Hayden Lowe with a year under their belt. And the guys, Marquise Lightfoot, they may need to take a free agent defensive tackle, but there's some young guys, Dante Simpson and some of these other young tackles that are going to be really good, I think. And then, the linebacker core probably going to need some help, okay? And cornerback, you're going to have Xavier Lucas, OJ Frederick. The cornerback situation is outstanding. If Damari Brown can get to full health, I mean, that's just a bonus. And then you got to work at safety, right? So there's really as you look to 2026, this is going to be a freaking stick team. You just need a couple of free agents, maybe at linebacker and safety, a free agent quarterback. And this should be one of the most talented teams in the country in 2026. That's what I see. This year's team is not perfect. And I keep trying to tell people that. I know everyone wants to say 9 wins is a total disappointment. This could easily be a 9-win team. I'm still sticking with 10. But 10 to me is on the positive end of the spectrum. If they win 10 games, to me, I'm that was a successful season. Make the playoffs in 10 wins, I'm happy. It's not oh, they should win 11 games. It's 10's the bar, that's the high bar. 9 might be the realistic bar because they're not quite there. If they have a couple of injuries, which happen all the time, and they have those at the wrong positions, things go south in a hurry, man. Defensive tackle and quarterback are 2 positions where they can't let anyone get hurt. Period. There cannot be an injury to starters at either of those positions for even 2 series in a game. So if everyone stays healthy this year, 11 wins would be a potential scenario. But no, that just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. So I don't know if I've gone too much off the deep end, but I'm going with 10 wins this year, and I'm going with what I always said, which is 2026 will be the year that they have the talent to go deep in the playoffs. Like that's just the truth. That's just how I see it.
All right, well, we'll worry about 2026 down the road, but that schedule is murderous.
You just asked about it. I would have rather worried about that.
Listen, I am buying into the if not now, when. I'm not counting on 2026.
It's a tougher schedule, but they're going to be a much better team, top to bottom.
We will see. But
if they get those handful of free agents, I'm assuming
you're not going to have Bain, you're not going to have Mesidor, you're not going to have Francis Manoa. You're losing a lot. You're not going to have Carson Beck, obviously. You probably won't have.
You're always going to lose a lot.
Probably won't have Mark Fletcher. You're going to have your defensive backs. We'll see who's back.
I need a couple of safeties. There's going to be 4 or 5 guys that they need to get in the portal that'll have to be key free agents. Yeah. But I'm not going to go over everything again. They have a ton of talent. That's young talent that's ready to rip. And they just got to set them loose in 2026. And those guys are going to be really good. And by the way, I hope they get a lot of reps this year. Those young defensive ends, those young receivers.
They will.
Yeah. So, we said that last year too. Justin Scott's going to play a lot. Justin Scott did not play a lot. Armando Blunt's going to get a lot of reps. He didn't get any reps. So we say it, but it doesn't always happen. But yeah, I would love to see a lot of these young guys get those reps to be ready to be championship caliber young players.
Justin Scott and Armando Blunt are ready for reps this year. They weren't ready last year. So this year they are ready. All right. Other stuff that's on the website today. We continue our attempt to project the depth charts ahead of the season opener. Offense is there, defense is there. You could check those out. We do still have recruiting coverage. For those of you that like to look ahead, Rivals/Onto came out with the top 100 for 2028. So we take a look at football recruits and future Miami targets there and where they're ranked in the top 100 for
2028. What is that? 4th grade? 5th grade? I can't do the backward math.
Yeah, they try to work a couple years out. We also have a story on emerging edge Keeson Taylor from the Canes getting in the chase there. You can catch up on that. And Miami remains involved with Alabama defensive line commit J.J. Finch, trying to steal one from the Crimson Tide. You can check out that story and see what's going on there. If you are not yet a subscriber to CaneSport.com, please, you got the information at your bottom of your screen. Your subscriptions allow our entire team to do what we do every day to make you guys the most informed fans in America. We need your support. Please head on over to CaneSport.com. Get yourself a subscription. Join our great community of fans. Very much appreciated if you would do so. That's going to do it for today for Good Morning CaneSport. We thank you so much for starting out your day with us, and we'll see you next time, everybody.